Hi, welcome to week 9 of your RaFFLe fantasy football season. A little late start today, but I figured better late than never. You know, with that extra hour of sleep, it makes it a little bit difficult to get things done on time because you think you've got all this extra time. And quite frankly, I don't give a shit about you people. No, that's not true. You're like family to me, and I care deeply about each and every single one of you. To that end, I thought today we'd mix a little fantasy football with a little cooking, a little tip from me to you on how to do. As I prepare my lunch, maybe you can learn from what I do. So for today's lunch, we're going to make the classic Chris Ridaway Beanie Weenie. We're going to start with first a baked bean. Now, I like to buy a baked bean rather than make my own baked beans. You can do whatever you like, but get a baked bean, get them ready, right? Then, as its name, the other key ingredient will be the ween, right? You can see my ween right there. So make sure you've got that handy. Then you want to go get yourself a pot, a sharp knife, because you are going to want to cut the weens. You don't want the full ween. You want cut up little weens, right? So as I cut up these weens, let's talk a little fantasy football, shall we? I have to play the Juggernaut Classified. Now the games have already started, and I'm off to a modest early lead, but not to last very long. But I think I have already scored more points than I did last week. Or elsewhere around the league, I think the Squirrels had an early lead against the Thunder last I saw. I haven't really been paying attention. And some other teams are winning as well. I would suggest if your team is playing today that you root for them 100%. The other thing, the Red Bell. So we had the Red Bell Classic yesterday, and in that, the highly favored Red Hots, made up of Tony Hot, Chris Ridaway, Joey Ridaway, Terry Ridaway, were able to go ahead and pull out the victory. A 2-stroke victory from the Eagles golf course, and it was a fabulous time held by all, especially by Tony Hot, who captured both long drive contests, and Chris Ridaway, who, for the first time in his life, actually won the closest to the pin tournament on one of the 2 holes. Now, of course, it was a team affair, and there were several times when everyone pitched in with a clutched shot or otherwise put together something that we needed, whether it was going to get me a beer or singing a song when we needed a little uplift, right? So, anyway, it was a great time. I wish you all could have been there, but you can't because you live elsewhere and maybe some of you don't golf. So, there's that. So, I think we're ready here. So what I like to do is take my bean and my pot and start pouring it a little bit. Now you'll notice that depending on the baked bean flavor that you go with, sometimes they put in a little piece of pork fat for you to find like that. I don't particularly want to eat that. So I go, hey Benny, come on, bud. No, that's my man. And he gets it right there. So big boy gets the big reward for hanging out in the kitchen with me. Now I pour some of the baked beans in, but then I like to gently cascading the hot dogs into the bowl. You see how that happened like that? I cascade. Now just if you were wondering, yes, in fact, I did cut them lengthwise and then came back with a chop. But then sometimes you'll have a little piece like this left over. You say, hey Benny, come here. Come on. And then he gets that bone right there. So that's my boy. So, the only other thing I will say, they're going to help spice your day up a little bit, is I like to put in a little secret ingredient, if you will. In this case, it's Pat's homemade. Not home, homemade. That's right, only hoes help to make this. I put in a generous helping of the Pat's homemade. And get that in there. Now I take the rest of my beans, dump it in there, maybe give it a little shake, beat the shit out of that thing, check in for worms. We're all good. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the bean and ween. Now I'll be recycling that can later, of course, so I'll save that for you right there. So now you take the bean, you come over here, you get yourself a wooden spoon of some sort. I'm going to go with this one. You give it just a little turn or two before putting it onto some heat. Now, depends on how hungry you are as to the temperature that you're going to put on. Me, I'm a little hungry, but I also don't like to rush it. I like it to take its time. I like it to percolate. So I'm probably going to go with your medium to your medium-low setting for this. So if you'll just excuse me for 1 second. Get this over on the stove here. Get that out of the way. Get that have your medium low. There we go. So, in about 15-20 minutes, I'm going to have Bean and Ween. Hopefully you'll have at least a ween inside your bean. You never know. So anyway, that red bell thing. So close to the pin, Tony got the longest drives. We won by 2 strokes. I'm trying to think if there's anything else you really need to know of that, other than we did win the big first place prize. And we are once again defending champions of that fine 26th annual Red Bell tournament. I think we won it 10 years ago, maybe longer than that. But at any rate, so it was a lot of good times. And that's Beanie Weenie, and then there's football on, and I don't know anything else. So you guys have a great week. This is Chef Chris saying goodbye, good luck, eat, pray, love, and suck a dick, say hi.